Hi everybody, my name is Pavel from Montreal province, Quebec in Canada, and the topic that I've chosen for today, which will probably last, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes, the topic that I've chosen is about how the people or the polyglots, I mean people who speak more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 languages, I happen to speak 7 of them, but how people who speak many languages, how they sustain their knowledge, what they need to do, how they need to perform so they could keep always on the edge. And I've actually prepared a couple of questions here which I want to answer. The first one is, what is the daily routine of a person who is polyglot? As far as I'm concerned, every single morning when I get up, I open my technical facilities and I read short messages, news from, I would say 5 to 6 different newspapers, such as Pravda, Le Figaro, Daily News, from everywhere where it is possible, just to tune my brain for that day. It is extremely important to do it every single day, because how they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. And the memory decay is the thing that nobody is resistant to. Yeah, if you simply do not practice, you will eventually or gradually lose it. I used to be a musician, and I played quite a lot music in Europe, and there was like a saying that if you don't play one day, or if you do not practice one day, you know. If you don't practice 2 days, your surrounding, I mean your colleagues who play with you, will know. And if you don't play 3 days, everybody knows. So that's quite normal. So it is extremely important to have the routine that you read or listen to some news or whatever topic you are interested in, that you practice it. Extremely important. Second thing which I have here is, the second one is, why is important to learn more languages? You know that if you speak one language or 2 languages, then you capture the essence of the language. And then the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th one is becoming easier, definitely easier. Because, for example, if you take languages such as Latin languages, they have very similar grammar. It's only the pronunciation which is more or less different. Like if you take French or Spanish or Italian or Portuguese, more or less the grammar is 99% identical, with some exceptions, such as for example, in French, that when you are conjugating certain verbs which are related to movement, yeah, you have to use être. But for example, in Spanish, you don't use it. You just use haber, right? In Italian, you have to use essere or avere. In French, you have to use être or avoir, etc. So the point is here that when you learn more languages, it becomes easy and easier and easier. And it is then very nice, like when you are, for example, sitting in a restaurant somewhere, or walking somewhere, or are some places where people speak different languages, you understand them. You just hear something there, and you know what is going on. You know what these people are talking about. But it is becoming easy and easy when you already know 2 or 3 languages. And obviously, why this is so important, that impact of learning language for your mental health is very important and is wide-ranging. Your brain is capable of learning as many languages or as many things as possible. You just have to use these neurons and fill them in with information. Yeah. So that would be it. This other question which I have it here: how does it impact the knowledge, the general knowledge? Obviously, when you read, and if you read different articles of different topics, for example, I'm very much interested in molecular biology, science, politics, religions, obviously news that you read or that you hear about in the world. It is important when you read about these things, there are a lot of new connections being created that will help you to understand the entire concept. I believe that the worst thing is to make like a personal opinion about certain things just based on one source of information, because you don't know who is sponsoring that channel, who is sponsoring that newspaper, how motivated they are to know or to impact you in terms of what is the truth. So it is very good, for example, to choose certain event that happens in the world. For example, presently it's right now that Ukrainian-Russian conflict, and read about it from different sources, not just from sources from the Western media. It's important to read, for example, in Russian. It is, and obviously you have to learn the language. So it gives you balanced view on things that are actually happening. So it's very important then. Now, the last thing that the last question that I had for myself, is that how the knowledge of languages impacts your personal life and the understanding of things. The impact is tremendous. You will be, if you speak more languages and you are trying to be objective, you will be participating in certain discussions with many people, and you will realize that with certain people you can, and with certain you cannot talk. Not that they would not be capable of understanding, but because of that bias that they have from that source, from the only source that they have. And to maintain certain level of conversation with them will be very, very challenging, because you will not convince, and I'm not trying to convince anybody, but you will not be able to balance the situation on both sides. You need, if you want to make a proper judgment about certain things, about certain events in the world, you need to speak more than 1, 2, 3, or 4 languages. Mainly, for example, if I am relating to that conflict in Russia, how can you have a balanced view if you read about it only from media from the Western societies? It's impossible. You have to know that Russian language or that Ukrainian language in order to understand both sides. So basically that was all that I wanted to say today, how it's important for people who speak more languages to keep themselves in check and to have a proper balanced understanding of the world's events. Bye-bye.